From Municipal Stadium in Daytona Beach, Florida, Sports Channel presents the 1995 FHSAA High School Football Championship. Tonight it's the 5A title game between St. Petersburg Dixie Hollins and Fort Walton Beach. Hello everyone, I'm Larry Vitale along with Jim Yarbrough. Welcome to Daytona Beach, Florida for the FHSAA High School Football Championships. Two champs have been crowned already, and we're working on number 3 tonight, the 5A title game, Fort Walton Beach and St. Pete Dixie Hollins. And Jim, two teams, one of which may have expected to be here, the other is a bit of a surprise.
That's true, Larry. About 4 weeks ago, Fort Walton was rated number 3 in the 5A division. Dixie Hollins was not even ranked with 2 losses in the regular season, but many times the coaches remind these kids it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and they're finishing in a state championship battle tonight.
And both these teams come in very hot. Obviously they've played well in the playoffs, but Dixie Hollins lost their first game and they've been 12-1 since then. Fort Walton Beach lost game 2 of their season and they have won 11 in a row since that setback. Let's take a look at the Vikings. You know, both these teams have very good quarterbacks, and for Fort Walton Beach, Marcus Outson's a really good combination quarterback.
Well, Marcus Outson is a runner and a thrower. Look, during the regular season, he got over 468 yards, averaged 4.6 yards per carry, 12 touchdowns running the football. And throwing the ball, he's very accurate as well, and he also put up pretty good numbers, 757 yards throwing the football.
So he throws it well, he runs it well, kind of a double threat for St. Pete Dixie Hollins to deal with defensively. Meanwhile, offensively, Dixie Hollins also has an outstanding quarterback, a different type of kid in Marquell Blackwell.
Blackwell's your classic drop-back passer. Even though they don't throw the ball that often, he's more often in the pocket and not running the football. During the year, you see he had 62 completions and 117 attempts, over 1,000 yards. But more importantly, look at that touchdown to interception ratio. 14 touchdowns, Larry, and only 1 interception.
Well, when you get a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes, you've got a great chance, and that guy has been the chance for St. Pete Dixie Hollins all season long. So that's the matchup for the 5A state championship, and we'll be back to kick it off here in Daytona Beach after this timeout on Sports Channel. The cost of the toin. Welcome to the 5A state championship game in the state of Florida, the FHSAA High School Football Championship. St. Petersburg Dixie Hollins with the blue pants and the white jerseys with blue numerals. The Rebels are 12-2 through the playoffs. A big win over Largo. Their toughest game was against Barron Collier out of Naples, a 2-point win there. Another tough one with Boca Raton, and an expected tough game that became a blowout behind quarterback Marquell Blackwell, who was superb in that 56-21 win over Deerfield Beach. Dixie Hollins under the direction of a first-year coach, Todd Wilson. You see him there in the blue jacket. Todd Wilson was an assistant at Hollins for the past 6 seasons, but he is now the head man, and in his first year as the head coach, a 12-2 record and a trip to the state championship game. Fort Walton Beach, the Vikings, with a record of 12-1. They actually played just 9 regular season ball games. Through the playoffs, a shutout of Pensacola Woodham. Palatka was number 1 heading into the postseason, but they fell by the wayside rather easily. Then wins over Daytona Beach Mainland and Buchholz High School from Gainesville. Buchholz similar to Dixie Hollins in that they had a very good running game as well as a very accurate passer in University of Florida bound Doug Johnson. So Fort Walton Beach able to get the job done against those opponents in order to play here for a state championship. Dixie Hollins will kick it off. They won the toss and deferred Fort Walton Beach then elected to take the ball, and they will defend the end zone to our right as we look at them. Two outstanding teams, two outstanding quarterbacks, and both quarterbacks will try to establish early on they've got their offense in rhythm.
Yeah, Fort Walton Beach was in the state championship battle 4 years ago. Was it 1992 that 1991 they were the state champions? They're glad to be back.
The officiating crew for today's ball game, Van Royal is the referee. They are out of the Florida-Georgia Officials Association in Jacksonville. A.J. Knight, Charlie Revels, Greg Knowles, Elroy Green, and Jim Todd. The rest of the crew, Mr. Todd will be on the clock. Kick is headed toward the left sideline and goes out of bounds by quite a margin. So Fort Walton Beach will take advantage of the kickoff out of bounds and get very good field position to start this ball game. You see a referee, Van Royal, calling the Fort Walton captain over.
They say we'll take the field position, no doubt about that.
They'll take great field position at the 35-yard line. First and 10 for Fort Walton Beach as they move from right to left. Fort Walton's been a high-scoring team in the postseason as we went through their scores. They scored 105 in their last 3 playoff games. Starting lineup for the Vikings from Fort Walton Beach. We talked about the quarterback, Marcus Outson. Richard McNabb, just a sophomore, an outstanding runner in that backfield, and up front, Wharf, Cotton, Reeder, Wright, and Tony Edge. They are a good offensive line, and they tend to wear on people. There you go, pound you over and over and over. There's McNabb, and he's got 9 yards off the right side before he is tripped up. Let's check the defense for Dixie Hollins up front. You've got Shakoy Blount. He is the guy to watch. Jeremy Jager, also a good defensive lineman. And those linebackers, Kurt Andrew, Torrance Cleveland, very active. You'll see them a lot.
Larry Demetrius Creighton, the lead back on that dive, threw an awesome block at the point of attack.
Second and very short. They'll run the fullback, and there's plenty of room, powering straight ahead. Demetrius Creighton. Creighton gets it into Dixie Hollins territory, just across midfield, and a first down for the Vikings.
Running behind big offensive tackle Tony Edge, number 75. He's 6'3", 280, the senior, probably the biggest guy on the Viking football team. But obviously he's very talented as well as they run right behind him on the second play.
Have not seen the Fort Walton Beach option just yet, although that was an option series. They ran it up the belly. Creighton, primarily a blocker, but you saw him on that carry. He can run with the football. Picked up about 6-7 yards. There's McNabb again. Not much running room this time as he is dropped after about a 2-yard gain. And it was Shakoy Brown in there quickly defensively, number 56. Shakoy Blount, coming into the postseason, had 98 tackles, 7 quarterback sacks. Just a junior. Guy they'd like to play at linebacker, but they're just too small up front without him, so he's in there at about 220 playing a defensive line position.
Yeah, their front seven average is about 230 pounds. That's good size for this division of competition. Very important for the defense to put the brakes on the opponent on the first play, because neither team really lights it up throwing the ball, so you want to shut down the running game as soon as you can.
First long yardage situation with a 2nd and 8. They go inside and get a little bit of running room. On the carry, Dylan Hunt. They'll use both of their fullbacks, and that time it was Hunt getting the ball inside the 44-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down for the Vikings. They shuttle in their wide receivers. Jason Berdishaw checking in and Ruiz checking out. There you see Hunt in the playoffs. Been a little more active in the postseason than he was during the regular season, in fact.
Well, they love to feature the tailback, but occasionally the quarterback obviously is a big running threat. And once in a while, the other guys get a chance to carry the ball.
This time they'll run the option. Outzen fake the pitch, keeps the ball, gets the first down to the 36-yard line. Outstanding effort made by Marcus Outzen for the first down. Marcus Wilson makes the tackle, but not before the Vikings move the chains.
So a picture's worth 1,000 words, and that's why we see the talented quarterback on the option. We see why he's picked up so much yardage during the regular season. That's a very athletic run right there on the option as he faked the pitch and then dove forward.
You see the regular season numbers for Outzen, 12 touchdowns and 6 already in the postseason. There's McNabb inside the 20. McNabb spins down inside the 18-yard line. Richard McNabb pounding through the middle, picks up 18 yards and a Fort Walton Beach first down.
You mentioned the fact that this youngster's just a sophomore, but watch number 1, Dylan Hunt, on the lead block. If we pick it up to the top of the screen, he's going to kick out on a safety right there. That's a tremendous block right there. Gives McNabb just a little extra space, and he refuses to go down as he whirls around and fakes for an additional 5 yards after he was first hit.
The ideal opening possession for Joey Rankin, however. He's got his guys moving the football on the ground, running the clock, jumping around, no flags. McNabb, all kinds of traffic, stutter steps through and gets close to the 15-yard line. Wilson had the first shot, couldn't get him. And then he was finally tackled in there. Eric Melvin, who plays the monster back for the Dixie Hollins Rebels defense.
Kurt Andrew, number 32, did an excellent job of turning McNabb inside right there. The outside linebacker, Kurt Andrew. This is the sophomore's production during the regular season. Look at that, Larry, 7.3 yards on the average. That's an amazing number.
And he's averaged over 100 yards a game in postseason as well. They run the fullback, and that time it's Dylan Hunt, and he spins down to about the 13-yard line, where it will be a 3rd and 5.
Shakoy Blount, number 56, one of the top tacklers on the Rebel football defense, again was there to trip him up.
Clock winds down, 7.5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. As Fort Walton Beach started at the 35. Every play has been a running play, and now they've got their first tough situation, perhaps 3rd and 5. Outzen is caught, and he is dropped. Nice play in the middle of the defense again by Shakoy Blount. It'll be a loss of 2, and Fort Walton Beach will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Shakoy Blount has 98 total tackles during the regular season. He leads the defense in tackles. We talked about him making the tackle on the prior play here. He makes a super effort and denies the Vikings the first down.
Jay Holmes in to attempt the field goal. He is excellent. He's missed only once all year long. He has a 53-yarder to his credit. This one is kicked solidly and right through. And with 6 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the opening quarter, the Vikings from Fort Walton Beach put 3 on the board on the opening possession of this Class 5A state championship game.
Now, Mike Owens, the offensive coordinator, has to be very excited with the effort of his Viking offense right there. You did mention Jay Holmes out there. He's heavily recruited, we understand. A lot of the coaches will tell you that after they face the Vikings, they've not seen a kicker at his level all year. He's gotten tremendous reviews from a lot of the coaches that he's faced.
We'll take another look at it. A very good drive for Fort Walton Beach, but you got to feel that Dixie Hollins fairly happy to get out of this with just a field goal. Nicely kicked.
Yeah, Todd Wilson, head coach of the Rebels, you're exactly right. He went over and told his defense, way to go. You know, you worked hard, you're playing a great team. They moved the ball, but they only got the 3.
Well, I tell you, I want one of those for my house. Wouldn't that be fun to have?
You don't want one on Christmas Eve and have to put it together for your kids. That reminds me of some horrible nights.
Oh, mercy.
Of course, that thing looks about 2 inches big on television. It's really, what, 40 feet?
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, it doesn't look all that big from there, but it is, and that's where we get the end zone view. Thanks to Andrew for that shot, and
It's a touchback.
Well, I tell you, talk about assembling stuff on Christmas Eve. What a nightmare. Let's take a look at the offense for Dixie Hollins. Marquell Blackwell is the trigger man, but their running backs are very good, led by Ricardo Juice Williams, number 33. And up front, they'll run behind William Buck Walls a lot of the time. They've also got Cooper Wimmers, Jager, and Alton Rogers, another good one. Their tackles are the strength of that offensive line, with Walls on the left side and Alton Rogers on the right side. Run out of the eye, tight end set on the left. Right up the gut and a whole bunch of running here. That's Curtis Andrew, the fullback, and he picks up just over 10 yards and a first down. Defensively for the Vikings at Fort Walton Beach. Up front, Sheffield, Perkins, Montalto, and Purdue. Not very big up front. Their secondary of Scott Jackson, Cooper, and Luna Jackson. Probably the best of the DBs, has a couple of interceptions. Fort Walton Beach has given up points and given up yardage this season, but their offense has been so productive, they've outscored a lot of people. Second man through, that's Juice. Juice Williams gets about 6 or 7 yards off the left side before he is tackled by Rodriguez Purdue.
Purdue on the stop.
Larry, as we look at the line of scrimmage, it's hard to believe, but the Vikings average only about 180 pounds on the front 7 guys on their defense. That's a really small unit for a 5A ball club. As we look at these numbers, actually 181 pounds. Dixie Hollins comes in at a pretty reasonable 231 pounds. These kids are so much bigger today, and especially in the bigger divisions. But 181 pounds, that's a surprise. But I got to believe those guys got some speed, though.
That they do have.
Championship game is available
so it's been a timeout on the field. 37-yard line is the spot of the ball. It is a second down and 4.
Copy of your school's
coming up for
visit the Channel 1 Sports booth.
St. Pete Dixie Hollins on this, their opening possession of the ball game offensively. The broadcast rights to today's telecast, well, we'll get to that a little. Let's hold off a second and let's talk about the Fiesta Bowl special coming up here on Sports Channel. The Florida Gators going bowling to play Nebraska in the Fiesta Bowl. We hope you'll join us live Sunday, December 31st at 7 o'clock. Up the middle, and another first down, spinning his way through traffic. That's Johnny Smith. Call him Fade. You got Juice and Fade sharing that tailback job.
One other thing they share is they're both mini backs. Only one about 140 pounds, maybe 5'7". They're really scat back quick. As you look at Todd Wilson along the sideline trying to encourage his players, but these tailbacks are literally the scat back variety.
Ball's at the 45-yard line, so Dixie Hollins with a drive starting out, trying to answer the field goal of Fort Walton Beach. Inside handoff, nothing there that time. The defense all over it for Fort Walton Beach, led by Ray Perkins, a defensive tackle.
Yeah, big Ray Perkins comes in at 190 pounds. He's one of those smaller guys that we talked about that lead the Viking defense. Watch 77, Ray Perkins at the point of attack. He's all over the little scat back Juice.
Marcus Turner also helps out on the tackle, but give Perkins the lion's share of the credit for that one. They lost about a half yard officially. No gain on the play, and you've got jumping around. It would appear to be encroachment by Perkins that time, although also had Dante Sheffield jumping in there. No movement on the offensive line, so that'll be 5.
Of course, high school football, you jump in the neutral zone. It's a dead ball play, automatic penalty. There you see Coach Todd Wilson.
Got a dead ball.
Well, after his team got stuffed on first down, it's a plus for them to
5-yard penalty, second down.
Get that 5 yards. So it's second and 5 with the ball right at the midfield stripe.
Yeah, they're in great shape with their offense on their first series right now.
Pitch running to the outside. 5 yards and more. Spinning his way forward for Dixie Hollins is Eric Melvin. He's their second-team fullback. Melvin got about 6 and a Dixie Hollins first down. So we've seen all 4 of the Dixie Hollins running backs in this opening possession.
Yeah, Melvin's the big kid at 165 pounds. But he, too, is 5'8". Again, a lot of quickness in the backfield for Dixie Hollins. They rely on the quickness of their backs to put points on the board for their offense.
First and 10.
Ball at the 44-yard line. 4 minutes and 17 seconds to play in the opening quarter of the 5A state championship game. Marquell Blackwell yet to throw. That's about to change. From the pocket, looking deep down the left side. He throws too strong, and there's a flag, and that should be offensive interference. And before you say the ball was not catchable in high school, that is irrelevant. The high school rules, interference is interference, whether the ball's thrown right to the receiver or into a different county.
That mind of yours is a steel trap, because I almost fell right in that hole. I was going to say, well, the ball wasn't catchable, though. In high school, it doesn't matter, huh? And
preliminary signal, offensive.
It's clearly offensive interference. Al Jackson gets run over by Dorian Randolph, and fortunately the ball is marked off at the line of scrimmage as the Rebels are backed up.
That's 15 yards and a loss of down, so that is the most punitive of penalties, offensive pass interference. I think that's awfully punitive. On the college level, it's the same thing, 15 and a down. That's quite a penalty.
Well, we talked about them being at midfield, everything going well on their first drive. Now they kind of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit here with that penalty.
Let's see how they handle it. First and now second down and 25, all the way back at their own 41. And they run inside, and there's not much there. Rodriguez Purdue in to make the quick tackle on Melvin. He might have gotten 2 or 3 yards, but that still leaves third down and a ton.
But Marquell Blackwell is an excellent passer. We talked about the fact that he's thrown for over 1,000 yards during the regular season, 14 touchdowns during the regular season. This kid can get the ball in the air, so they can overcome this circumstance that they put themselves in.
Blackwell, just a junior, so they'll have a chance to impress some college recruiters next year. Blackwell hit as he throws. It goes right into the ground. Excellent pass rush from Dante Sheffield from the left defensive end.
Looked like Blackwell had time initially there, Larry, but Dante Sheffield to the right of your screen is going to fight off the block of the back, Marquise Fitzgerald. Fights off the block of Fitzgerald just in time to get in the face of Blackwell and destroy the pass attempt.
So they punted away. Fair catch signaled for and taken back at the 16-yard line by free safety Eric Luna. So a pretty good punt from Cedric Washington. No return. And Fort Walton Beach will go on offense with 3 minutes and 11 seconds to play here in the first quarter. You see on the far side of the stands here at Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium, the fans from St. Petersburg here to root on the kids from Dixie Hollins, the Rebels, and there you see some of the Vikings contingent from Fort Walton Beach. Fort Walton Beach, the state champion in 1991 under the direction of Danny Werfel and the receiving prowess of E.G. Ernie Green. Ernie Green now, of course, an outstanding receiver for Florida State. Danny Werfel, the All-American quarterback for the University of Florida. There's McNabb. McNabb can't get loose, and he'll be dropped at the 20-yard line. Talk about a shoestring tackle. That was one right there.
Blunt on the stop.
That was number 14, Eric Melvin. Melvin doing a nice job of just hanging on right there, refusing to give up on the play. Melvin's only a junior. You know, Dixie Hollins did a nice job on their first drive in. They got the great punt that you talked about, backed up the Vikings a bit. They're going to make them work real hard to go over 80 yards if they hope to score.
Now they want to play a little field position if they can. Quick pitch to the outside. McNabb can't get anywhere. Great job stuffing it by Warren Wright, number 45. Just totally disrupted that play.
And he turned the play, and he was not going to get hooked. He was going to fight to the outside. He's the right defensive end. He can't afford to let the option get outside of him. Look at the bottom of your screen. You see him slanting out there.
Third down, 7.
Slanting, he's getting blocked in the back as well. See, that was number 1. Dylan Hunt blocked him from behind a little bit there, but he still made the play.
On third down, Outson almost fell down, got his balance, throws, it's caught, but short of a first down. Hustling back to make a nice catch for Fort Walton Beach was Ashley Cooper, a backup tailback, kind of a wingback position for the Vikings, but that will not pick up the first down, and they'll have to punt it away.
Herbert Dorsey, number 9, in good coverage, and that's excellent defense. We talked about the battle of field position. Fort Walton Beach inside their own 20-yard line as they started their second drive. The Dixie Hollins Rebel defense came out, made a stand, and out comes that terrific kicker, Jay Holmes.
Holmes averaging just over 40 per kick. An all-purpose kicker. He'll get a chance to kick at the next level. That's not a good one. Little wobbler, hits at the 48, rolls across midfield inside the 40. Statistically, it'll turn out to be a very nice kick of 42 yards. But he knows he didn't do a real good job on that boot. But again, it's not how, it's how many. That's a 42-yard net. You'll take that in college, let alone high school.
And Dixie Hollins is going to get the ball back about where they gave it up on the last series when they punted the ball away. So the defense did the job for Coach Todd Wilson, who not only is a head coach, but he considers himself the defensive coordinator, runs the defense. So that was a great job by the Rebels right there. And the Vikings are going to be called on now to fend off this offensive drive.
Inside a minute to play here in the opening quarter of the 5A state championship game. St. Pete Dixie Hollins trailing Fort Walton Beach 3-0. There's the juice. Running through tackles out in the open field, and Williams is finally run out of bounds at the 40-yard line of Fort Walton Beach.
Ashley Cooper, number 3, the strong safety, finally makes the hit on Juice Williams, the little guy, but he doesn't run like a little guy. Number 33, we see why he leads this team in rushing. That was the best running effort of the night right there by any back on the field. Juice Williams, just a beautiful job refusing to go down, even though we talked about his lack of size. He really runs like a big guy.
Kind of a little Juice Coop out there, isn't he?
There you go.
Mark it at the 41-yard line. Loose ball. Couldn't tell who got it. They say Fort Walton Beach has the ball. Ball just popped out of the hands of the ball carrier. And down at the bottom of the pile, was it Perkins that had it? Ray Perkins, 77, I believe, came up with the football for Fort Walton Beach, the game's first turnover.
Dante Sheffield, number 44, was also there. The ball's just on the hip of Fitzgerald. Marquise Fitzgerald just doesn't get the handle, and there's the big defensive tackle, Ray Perkins, all over the pigskin.
And so Fort Walton Beach has its third offensive possession, this time with very good field position at the 39-yard line with the clock running, 15 seconds to play in this opening quarter. Inside handoff, spinning forward. That's Hunt, Dylan Hunt. Got about 4 yards as he got it up near the 43-yard line, and that'll be the end of the first quarter of the 1995 FHSAA High School 5A Championship game. After one period of play, it's Fort Walton Beach with a field goal. We'll be right back.
The Florida High School Activities Association would like to recognize its corporate sponsors. But the official ball of the Florida High School Activities Association Florida Final. Cheering the official sports drink of the Florida Final. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Fort Walton Beach 12-1 on the year. Their coach Joey Rankin in his third year. His team lost its second game of the season at Pensacola, Washington, 19-0. And he talks about what that loss did for his team. In fact, it made him a better football team to get to this point.
We lost to Washington the early season. We ran 62 plays against them that night and made some mistakes inside the 5-yard line. Knew they were the #1 ranked team in the state, defending state champion. But if we could eliminate those mistakes in future games, we had a pretty good opportunity to be competitive throughout the remainder of the season. So we built off that and gained some momentum as we went next week, played against Woodham, tied 10-10 at halftime. Our guys came out and gave a great 24 minutes the second half. And next week we played the Niceville Eagles, who 4 years in a row have been district contenders. And when we defeated them, our kids, it was a real big confidence builder for our kids. They knew they had the opportunity to be a good football team.
Joey Rankin, the head coach, 23-10 at Fort Walton Beach. The ball at the 46-yard line. It's at the third down and short. They'll get the first down. McNabb cuts it inside. McNabb needs one more. Block can't get it, but he's inside the 35-yard line before he is finally brought down. A big run for sophomore tailback Richard McNabb.
Just terrific balance here by McNabb as he's hit a couple of times after he gets through the line of scrimmage. You see the nice block by Jody Wright, number 66 there. But McNabb is just terrific once he breaks through the line of scrimmage and avoiding a couple of arm tackles right there.
From inside the 35, McNabb again spins off the first hit, had to reach back to hold on to that football, and then goes forward for close to 5 yards before he's brought down. Marcus Wilson in on the tackle, along with Glenn Davis.
Big guys up front now are doing the job. Joey Wharf at left tackle, number 54. J.C. Cotton, number 64 at left guard. Darren Reeder, the center. Jody Wright, the right guard. And Tony Edge, number 75 at right tackle, Larry. Those guys are doing a real nice job for the Vikings on this drive.
Second down, they go McNabb again. He gets 2 or 3 down around the 27-yard line before he's knocked off his pins. Knifing in there, Jeremy Jager from the defensive left tackle, number 73, making the play.
Met Coach Rankin's dad out in the parking lot prior to the kickoff tonight. He'd driven down from Mississippi. Very proud of his son Joey, and as everyone is, I'm sure, in Fort Walton with the success that this team has had this year.
Well, they're facing another third down situation. They have to get the ball almost to the 24-yard line. There's McNabb, not much. He surges forward, but I don't believe he got the first down. He's going to be about a half-yard shy at the 25-yard line, and Joey Rankin, with an outstanding place kicker, but needing less than a yard, has a decision to make.
Well, and he's talking to his offensive coordinator, Mike Owens, right there. What are we going to do, guys? The crowd's saying go, and Coach Owens, the offensive coordinator, says, get out there, here we go. With our short yardage offense, we can make this thing. 4th and 1, and the Rebel defense has been playing really well, but their biggest test of the night comes up right here.
Quarterback keeper, first down at the 23-yard line. Outson just surged behind his left guard, J.C. Cotton. Cotton got good movement, and that was that.
Just doesn't even go on a verbal command there, Larry. Just a hand command to the center. The ball's snapped and they're off. He might have quickly given the verbal snap, but that's a very safe play, obviously, on short yardage. The quarterback sneak once he decides where the weakness is in the defense.
Outson running out to the right. He's got running room. Outson to the 15, and he'll be dropped at about the 12-yard line. Good open field tackle made by Glenn Davis, but it's a pickup of about 11 or 12 and another first down for Fort Walton Beach.
Glenn Davis absolutely all alone in the open field as he finds Marcus Outson coming right at him in the open field. That's the toughest tackle to make. A little bit of a bootleg action here, very deceptive. Oh, nice two-hand fake right there. Outson's outside the containment, and there's the open field tackle by Glenn Davis. Needed to make that one, or the Vikings would have had a touchdown.
T.J. Owens, the tight end, was wide open out there, but that might have been a run from the get-go. Nice stuff made on the right side, as again it's Shakoy Blount stopping McNabb for a loss of 2.
Larry, I think it's quite easy to be impressed with the offense of the Fort Walton Beach Vikings right now, but I'm equally impressed by the defense of Dixie Hollins, because they're really fighting the Vikings on every play. They might give up a pretty good play, and then they come back and stuff one, just like they did right there. That Rebel defense really playing tough. These guys had 4 shutouts during the regular season, held 2 other teams to only a field goal.
On 2nd and 12, Outson keeps and is spun to the ground. This time it's Marcus Wilson, the right defensive end.
That's just terrific defense. Again, you're seeing why these guys are battling for a state championship in the 5A division. Look at the top of your screen. That's just a beautiful job by big number 63, Marcus Wilson. Everybody else took their gaps. Marcus Wilson was left all alone. That was his responsibility, and he stood up and got it done.
200-pound sophomore. See what he grows into. 3rd down and long. Outson throws for the corner, wide open. No! He did not make the catch. A diving effort by Ashley Cooper, but he could not come up with it. And at 4th down, the field goal unit trots back out on the field.
A beautiful job by Ashley Cooper on the corner route. Marcus Outson lays the ball out there beautifully. Now he seems to have the ball. No, he never had it at all. I thought for a moment he had it until he hit the ground, but he never had control. The ball right on target by Marcus Outson. Cooper just couldn't come up with a touchdown grab.
This will be a 28-yard field goal attempt for Jay Holmes. Made his first one. He hooks that one, but it went around the post. He did get it through. It was close. But Jay Holmes is 2 for 2 in this ball game, the only points of the contest.
And that's his 8th field goal that we mentioned that in the playoffs to date in the playoffs. And what do you have, Larry? 6 in the regular season?
Someone's going to give him an opportunity at the next level to score a few points here and there. 6:57 to play. We're in the 2nd quarter of the 5A State High School Football Championship game. Joey Rankin and his Vikings from Fort Walton Beach with a 6-0 lead over Todd Wilson and the Rebels from Dixie Hollins.
Hey, it's a good football game, isn't it? As we look at that last series, 11 plays, only 61 yards. They didn't have that far to go. They had great field position. Took them a shade over 5 minutes to get it done, but they got points. They got the field goal. So Dixie Hollins again hanging in there with their defensive effort. It's an excellent football game right now.
More great sports action is coming your way here on Sports Channel. That'll be college basketball live Wednesday, December 20th from the O'Connell Center in Gainesville. We invite you to tune in at 7 o'clock for all the action as Long Kruger's Gator basketball team takes on the Stetson Hatters right here on Sports Channel, where college basketball is at its best. Kickoff taken at the goal line. And not much running room at all for Juice Williams as he tried to bring it back, but not much there. Good coverage from Fort Walton Beach, and the Dixie Hollins Rebels will start at their own 18-yard line.
So important for the Rebels to get something done, maybe a big play to give some inspiration to their offense right now. They're really struggling on offense, but they only trail by 6 points. That's obviously not a whole lot of points that Fort Walton Beach has piled up on them, but they do have the lead.
They got to go back to that first possession when they drove the ball well before that offensive interference put them in a very difficult 2nd and 25 situation. Running left side, still on his feet, churning forward. That's Ricardo Juice Williams, and he's up to the 26. He got about 8 yards on the play.
Eric Luna, the free safety, number 7, in on the tackle.
Williams closing in the 1,500-yard mark. They don't have the stats exact, but right around the 1,500-yard mark. And Johnny Smith, the fade, is right around 1,000. So your 2 tailbacks have 2,500 yards. That's doing pretty well. We have a timeout on the field right now, so let's hear from the head coach of the Dixie Hollins Rebels, Todd Wilson. In his first year, he talks about what it means to Dixie Hollins to be playing for the state championship.
Pump and Manufacturing Company, Care, Halifax Area Concessions, and Parker Pittsburgh Associates.
It's nice for these kids and the coaching staff because, you know, we've been winners. A lot of people down there thought we would begin to lose some football games this year. And we came out the first game and actually lost, and the kids are doing better. And it's just a real proud thing. I'm happy for the kids and the assistants who have worked all hard.
See the head man, 12-2 on the year. They came in as the head coach after being an assistant for 6 years and promptly saw his team lose opening day to Tarpon Springs by a score of 18-6. But since then, 12-1. Their only setback, a 3-point loss to Tampa Jesuit.
Of course, Tarpon Springs only had one loss during the regular season, went into the playoffs as well.
From the 26, it's second and a couple. Second man through, spinning forward, Johnny Smith, fade. Goes to about the 29, give him a first down. Marcus Turner in on the tackle, along with Rodriguez Purdue, but it's a first down at the 29-yard line.
Now that's what the Rebels needed. They needed to get out away from their own goalposts a little bit, move closer to midfield, get some encouragement with their offense. Should look at Johnny Fade Smith.
Rebels at their own 29-yard line, 5:48 in counting.
5 minutes, 45 seconds to go here in the first half. The FHSAA High School Football Championships, the Florida Finals, and it's 6-0 in this 5A title game. Fort Walton Beach with the lead, but having to settle for 2 field goals means a touchdown and an extra point can give Dixie Hollins the lead. Blackwell throws too strong. Trying to get the ball to Dorian Randolph on the left sideline in between the zone coverage of Luna and Jackson, but it was incomplete. It's 2nd and 10.
Randolph tried to run the deep out route, break toward the sideline in between the coverage and the zone defense right there, but the ball just didn't get to him.
Blackwell has not been a big factor throwing the ball. He came into this game with 1,633 yards passing, but he has yet to complete one so far in this contest. They pitch to the outside. Nice play, although Smith was able to stay on his feet, but a great effort by Ashley Cooper at strong safety.
You know, I really believe that the Rebels need to throw the ball, obviously, with some success. You cannot continue to compete with the Vikings if you can't throw the ball at all. They do run the ball with success, but they come in with a balanced attack, and right now the running game is even having problems. As you see the pitch to Johnny Fade Smith, and he just can't get outside.
Fade saved his team about 5 or 6 yards with that effort, but it was still a loss of a couple, and it's 3rd down. Blackwell running out to the right side, throws up the middle, and it's incomplete, almost intercepted. His intended receiver had fallen down. That was Herbert Dorsey. And Luna trying to come up from his free safety position along with Al Jackson. Shot at picking it off. Couldn't do it. It's 4th down, and the Rebels will have to punt it away.
Well, we were complimenting the Rebel defense a few moments ago. Now it's the Viking defense that's really standing up and just not allowing Dixie Hollins to accomplish anything on offense, especially with Dixie Hollins having trouble throwing the football.
Second punt from Cedric Washington. His first was a good one. This is not as good, a shorter kick. Luna makes the catch at the 43-yard line, and that's where Fort Walton Beach will go on offense with 4 minutes and 25 seconds to play here in the first half, and an opportunity to try to add to a 6-0 advantage.
That's a great opportunity right here for the Vikings. Great field position. Had some success on offense getting in field goal position, but they want to finish off a drive with a touchdown before halftime.
Outson fakes the draw, looks downfield, he fires it. It is high and incomplete. Trying to get it in there to Sean Smith.
Larry, Glenn Davis in perfect position, just terrific defense as you see him right there getting handshake from one of his teammates, a youngster at 5'10", 175 pounds. 8 interceptions. I don't know if that's probably through tonight's ball game. Look at this coverage, Larry. Can't be any better than that. Ball was on target, too.
That's one thing they have at Dixie Hollins is a pair of corners. Davis, a senior, Marquise Fitzgerald, a junior. Fitzgerald with 9 interceptions to go with Davis, who has 8. Outson throws it in the left side. He's got his man. That's Ashley. And he surges forward, Ashley Cooper. And he's got a first down at the 43 of Dixie Hollins.
Well, one of the things that the Vikings are doing now is mixing it up a little bit, aren't they? They're throwing the ball with a little bit of success. What'd you say those interceptions by the Fitzgerald had 9 and Davis had 8? Can you imagine a Division I cornerback, college football, saying he had 8 interceptions in a season? Of course, these kids are what, in their 15th game right now or something. So maybe it's those numbers aren't quite what they would seem in a 10 or 11 game season.
I tell you though, it is still a bunch of interceptions when you think about what that takes to make plays like that. And they're trying to intercept a very talented quarterback in Marcus Outson, who has been running the show for Fort Walton Beach all season long. 18 touchdowns as a runner, 9 touchdowns as a thrower. He's a veteran, he's a senior, he's a captain. And his high school coach, Joey Rankin, told me earlier he's definitely the leader of this football team.
Well, Marcus is our leader on offense. He's the captain of one of the captains of our team, has respect of all the players. Outstanding athlete, real strong runner, strong arm, has the ability to throw the ball as well as make something happen under pressure. He's the type of player that can go out and make things happen for us offensively. Sometimes turn a play that would normally be a bad play.
We'll see what Outson can do here. The timeout was called 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Still plenty of time for the Vikings to try to do some damage here in the first half of this ball game. They lead by a score of 6-0. A pair of field goals from Jay Holmes, the only scoring, 1 in each quarter. For Dixie Hollins, an important defensive series. They don't want to be more than a score down with the troubles they have had offensively to this point. On first down from the 43, they run the draw. There's McNabb trying to get outside. He's got 5. McNabb's got 10, and he's down at the 32-yard line. But Richard McNabb really set those tacklers up and then just kept bouncing it outside.
Eric Melvin, number 14, thinks he's got the tackle made in the open field. Watch McNabb bounce to the outside. You're going to watch the safety. Eric Melvin, number 14, sees, oh, I think I got him, but oh, no, I don't have him. McNabb bounces outside and picks up that additional yardage that really helps his football team move the ball by picking up another first down. Look at this, 72 yards already, Larry, in the second quarter.
McNabb came into the game at 1,371. They'll run the fullback. Plenty of running room. Dylan Hunt stumbles forward, or he'd have had even more, but he still gets about 8, maybe 9 yards for Fort Walton Beach.
Dylan Hunt at 5'9", 150. He's a tiny guy in the Viking backfield, but quickly hits the hole. Excellent blocking up front. Again, J.C. Cotton, the left guard. Aaron Reeder, the center, is doing a beautiful job up front right now for the Vikings.
Hunt, the second leading ball carrier for his squad, with 18 yards behind McNabb, who's been the top guy. We're near the 3-minute mark to play here in the first half. Outson fakes the draw, throws. He's got Cooper. Cooper at the 10, still on his feet to the 5 and down at the 3-yard line.
Well, Ashley Cooper, very exciting after he catches the ball, but Marcus Outson right on target on the drag route to his tailback, Ashley Cooper. I wasn't sure if Cooper lined up to the right of the formation right there. I think he did, and was dragging across the field. He's listed as a tailback, but I think they had him out on the right side.
More like a wingback, I think.
Wingback. He got out of that backfield rather quickly, though.
Up the middle, it's a touchdown. Richard McNabb right through the middle of the defense, and Fort Walton Beach leads by a dozen.
The beautiful thing about that drive was the balance in the offensive attack, the run and the pass. Both of those weapons worked for the Vikings. Both allowed them to get down and get their first touchdown of the night. They weren't able to have that kind of balance when they scored earlier and they only got the field goals. This time they were able to finish it off with a touchdown because they could throw and run.
And even though they have an excellent kicker, they want a 2-touchdown advantage, so they'll go for 2. They've got the momentum offensively. Really stacked up inside defensively as Dixie Hollins outs it, will throw for it. He's got a man and he's got 2 points. Over in the corner, that's Dylan Hunt. The backup fullback becomes a receiver, and Fort Walton Beach, looking for its 2nd state championship in 5 years, has a 14-0 lead.
Now Marcus Outson looks to his right, then comes back to his left, floats the ball out there to Dylan Hunt. I think there might have been a flag in the end zone too. They're discussing it right now. Let's see what the call is. It looked to be on the defense.
I think they might have had 12 guys out there. They had an awful lot of guys jammed up in the middle. And it is against Dixie Hollins. They've called Outson back to the field to talk to the official. So we'll see what the details are. Usually on a conversion flag, they just tack it onto the kickoff, but we'll see if that's an option here. Obviously, you don't take the 2 points off the board. That's not an alternative. Yeah, hopefully we'll find out soon. Yep, 12 men. So it'll be 15 on the kickoff. They'll be kicking off from midfield. Or actually from the
stepped off on the kickoff.
I guess it'll be about midfield, won't it?
Conversion.
Well, certainly anytime your offense gets additional points, it gives a big lift to the defense, so that Viking defense is going to take the field with a little bit more enthusiasm right here, as after 7 plays, 56 yards, the Vikings add to their lead with their first touchdown of the night.
And all 3 of their scoring drives have been at least 50 yards. You know, the field goal drives were 63 and 61, I believe. That one was 56. So the total offense difference, as you see there, is dramatic. Fort Walton Beach moving the ball consistently. Dixie Hollins just had their first drive. They started without very good field position. I think it was about the 18-yard line, moved it down to inside Fort Walton territory at about the 36, and then they got an offensive pass interference and really have not had a threat offensively since then.
Well, Mark Blackwell has to get it going on offense. He's been known throughout the season to be able to get it done in the air for his team, and I don't think they've completed one yet, have they?
They have not completed a pass, no. So they kick off from the 45. You just boot it through the end zone or try something cute. Squib it, try to pick it up. Oh, a little sky kick, but even a sky kick for this guy is going into the end zone. So Jay Holmes not happy with his execution, but that's a tough kick from the 45. I think you're better off just squib it, try to pick it up, see if you can do something. But again, they didn't want to give up great field position.
Had a brief shot of Steve Williams there, Larry, in the sweatshirt, the defensive coordinator, and you were right. He was trying to pop the ball up in the air real high, but he's got such a strong leg that it went to the inline anyway.
Yeah, it's like asking John Daly to just chip it over the trap and
pull off the ball a little bit.
And you hit your sandwich 170 yards, it's hard to let up. They don't have any clubs for that. So from the 20, let's see how Dixie Hollins plays it. Will Todd Wilson air it out? He wants to. And that ball's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Williams could not pull it in.
Excuse me, Larry. An excellent pass rush by Rodriguez Purdue right there. Just putting a lot of pressure on Blackwell. He literally could not get the ball off as he intended to do.
2:34 to play here in the first half. There's still quite a bit of time. For Dixie Hollins, though, they've got to complete some passes. They've not been able to complete a throw yet, and they really haven't asked Blackwell to do enough. He's only thrown 3. Not counting the incompletion on the offensive interference. So he has thrown the ball 4 times without completing a pass. Under pressure, screen is set up, nicely executed. Running down the right side, still on his feet. All the way up to the 40-yard line. Marquise Fitzgerald.
Now the offensive coordinator for the Rebels is Mike Morey. Larry, this is a beautiful call right here. The screen. We talked about the pass rush, the quickness of the Viking defense. They take advantage of it right here. And again, the balance. Look at the terrific balance right here as he moves the football down the field.
Across the 40, so that's a good 21-yard play for Dixie Hollins as we near the 2-minute mark to go in the first half. Another screen the other way. It's intercepted. There's Purdue. Purdue on the run, still on his feet inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. First down, Fort Walton Beach.
Now they come back to the screen to the left after having success going to the right. And Rodriguez Purdue, look at the bottom of your screen. He's going to run right into the line of flight of Blackwell's pass, trying to get the ball out to Juice Williams. But instead, Purdue has it, and the Vikings are on the brink of scoring again.
And they have all 3 timeouts remaining with the ball at the 18-yard line. The clock running 1:45 to play. In high school, the clock does start after change of possession, unlike other levels of football. And after 15 seconds ran off the clock, Dixie Hollins calls timeout to regroup defensively for what is the most important next 2 or 3 plays this school has had all season long.
Oh, absolutely. A 14-point lead can be overcome rather quickly and consistently with your play in the second half, but a 3-touchdown lead, there'll be a lot of gloomy faces in the locker room at halftime for Dixie Hollins if they give up a touchdown now.
This is the 3rd state championship game we've shown you here on Sports Channel. Number 4 is coming up tonight at 7:30. It's the 4A state championship game, a traditional power. The Bulls Bulldogs from Jacksonville taking on the Hardy County Wildcats from Wauchula. That's coming up at 7:30 right here on Sports Channel, the home of the FHSAA championship games. Well, a pair of field goals got Fort Walton Beach on the board early in this contest, and then a scoring drive with the tailback McNabb taking it into the end zone, followed by the 2-point conversion pass made it 14-0. But the big interception by Rodriguez Purdue has Fort Walton Beach in a position where they can try to take command of this ball game. Outs and tried a quarterback draw, and he is buried back at the 24-yard line. Big rush right up the middle. And on the play, number 54, that's Joey Wharf. I'm sorry, I got my wrong roster there.
That's Stephen Cooper. I was looking for him myself. He's deep on the depth chart, but
he's on their offensive line, not listed as a guy on the 2 deep on defense, but they've got to use more guys playing both ways, more size out there to try to stop the surge that offensive line from Fort Walton Beach is getting. And although the Vikings don't have a really big offensive line, they come off the ball hard, and they've really been able to push the Dixie Hollins defensive line around a little bit.
Todd Wilson, you see there, Larry, trying to encourage his defense to make a stand, telling them how important it is, as we talked about, not giving up that additional 7 points right here prior to halftime. Just really, literally, the backs against the wall for the Dixie Hollins Rebels right here. The Vikings having some success most recently throwing the football, so they're really putting a lot of pressure on that Rebel defense with the run and the pass.
5-yard loss on that quarterback sack, put the ball at the 23-yard line. Fort Walton Beach used one of its 3 timeouts. 1:33 to play first half. And again, they want to be sure to get at least 3 out of this, because that puts you 3 scores up. Outs and throws to Cooper, in and out of his hands. Ashley Cooper couldn't bring it in.
Almost interception, too, on the ricochet. Marquise Fitzgerald, I don't know if the ball hit the ground, but look to the right of your screen as they try and get the ball out to Ashley Cooper on the slant. Oh, yeah, that ball almost bounced right into Fitzgerald's hands, number 27. The slant route was there. The ball thrown by Outson was just a bit behind the wide receiver.
Let's see what they call on 3rd down and 15. Outzen rolls to the outside, looking downfield, has nobody to throw it to, and he'll be sacked at the 30-yard line.
Hey, how about that defense, huh? Backs to the wall, refusing to give up. Just a great effort right here on the last couple of plays by Dixie Hollins to Shoy Blount. Number 56 in the open field area, the most dangerous place in the world to be. That's 32 also out there giving him some help.
Kurt Andrew.
Excuse me, Kurt. Kurt was out there in the field too.
This will be a 46-yard attempt for Jay Holmes to try to salvage that scoring opportunity. He's got the leg, and he's got it through. That's a big kick for Fort Walton Beach by James Holmes. After back-to-back quarterback sacks, he delivers a tough angle three-pointer to make it 17-0.
Now that's how you win championships. When you can't quite finish it off with the touchdown, you turn it over to a kicker like Holmes, and he delivers. And he's kicked 3 tonight. It's been perfect. Boy, what a weapon that is to add to the arsenal of your offensive attack.
And that's got to be demoralizing a little bit for Dixie Hollins. They've made 2 quarterback sacks. They feel like they've driven them away, and yet they still come away with 3 points, and now Dixie Hollins will need 3 scores to win this state championship ball game, trailing 17-0.
Yeah, but there's a lot of yeah buts in life. Yeah, but they didn't give up the touchdown, so they got something to build on in that locker room at halftime. And the Vikings obviously in complete control, but it's not over for the Rebels by any means.
Their worst offensive possession ends up a field goal, however. They went backwards about 12 yards and scored. Good high deep kick fielded by Juice at the 3-yard line. Juice comes up the middle looking for room, gets a little but not a ton, and is run down at about the 28 or 29-yard line. And with 35 seconds to go, let's see if Marquell Blackwell will try to chuck it down the field a little bit and try to make something happen.
They tried to chuck it down a little bit on the last series, and we talked about their lack of success throwing the ball. Doggone if they didn't turn it over. Matter of fact, that's the field position that gave the Vikings the chance to pad their lead. So just all kinds of problems for the Rebels tonight throwing the football, but their talented tailbacks are doing a pretty good job, but it's all on their shoulders so far.
Blackwell looking downfield, throws out in the flat. He's got Juice, but that's a 1 or 2 yard gain. Out of bounds at the 30. It'll be a gain of 1 yard with 12 seconds to play in the half. Blackwell, just his second completion of the ball game. He's now 2 out of 7. This is a guy who completed 60% of his passes coming into this contest.
Look at the depth of your secondary here, Larry. They're not going to let anybody get behind them. That's exactly what you are supposed to do.
Hello in there.
Yeah, they're not going to.
Has the ball been snapped yet?
You said he only caught it for 2. They weren't about to allow anything else downfield.
Free safety. Eric Luna is at midfield. He's 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Blackwell with time throws, a juggling attempt made and almost an interception. First a juggling effort for Dixie Hollins by Glenn Davis, and then Ashley Cooper had a shot at him.
I almost think that Coach Todd Wilson's better off right now just having his guys take a knee, because if you're not going to get the ball down there with a big play, and we saw the secondary, they're not going to allow the big play. You might have a deflected pass or something like that, and boy, that would be a disaster for Dixie Hollins. So maybe they'll just run a dive here or even take a knee with 5 seconds left to go.
Fort Walton Beach does have 2 timeouts, but I think you can use up 5 seconds on a couple of snaps even if you do just take a knee, but they're going to look for something. Blackwell throws it deep down the field. Boy, he throws it a long way. Jump ball incomplete. That ball left his hands at the 25 and came down at about the 15. So that was almost 60 yards in the air on the final play of the first half.
Now, so much for taking the knee. The bomb downfield to Dorian Randolph, and he's there, but so are 2 defenders. Nice job by, the quarterback. Outson's out there playing defense on the last play.
And that will do it for the first half of the 5A High School Football Championship game here in the state of Florida. with our score. Fort Walton Beach 17, St. Petersburg Dixie Hollins nothing. We'll be back with our halftime after this timeout on Sports Channel. It's halftime at Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium at the FHSAA 5A Championship game, and we've got a 17-0 ball game here at the half. And Jim, I guess the surprise has to be Dixie Hollins, a team that's had a lot of success offensively, 0 on the board in the first half.
Larry, it's really been disappointing for them in terms of getting the ball in the air with any success. They've not completed a pass in the first half. Now, Dixie Hollins is playing some great defense. They're really hanging in there with the Vikings from Fort Walton Beach, but they trail by 17 points.
Fort Walton Beach got the kickoff to start the ball game and mounted a very good drive, opening possession. It's always great to put points on the board.
Yeah, Jay Holmes, we heard about this kid coming into tonight's battle. Truly one of the best kickers in in high school football in the state of Florida. He kicks like a college kid.
After another field goal made it 6-zip, a really nice pass play from Outson.
To Ashley Cooper, number 3. This sets them up for their touchdown. You see Cooper avoid the tackle there in the open field after making the catch. Gets the ball down where McNabb can punch it in.
And the 2-point conversion made it 14-0. Dixie Hollins hit a 20-yard screen pass to the right. They come back, screen left. Not a good idea.
Rodriguez Purdue is right in position to pick this ball off. Blackwell throws it right to him on the screen attempt. And once again, great field position and a chance for Jay Holmes to add to the lead.
And the Dixie Hollins defense responded. A couple of quarterback sacks. They thought they might have pushed Holmes out of range, but not quite. 46 yards.
Now, his third field goal of the first half, his longest field goal, 46 yards. Barely gets over the crossbar, but it counted. 3 field goals and 1 touchdown for the Vikings in the first half.
And a big field goal because it makes it a 3-score game for Fort Walton Beach as they lead at the half, 17-0. We'll be back to talk more about the first half. Check out the statistics when we return to Daytona Beach after this timeout on Sports Channel. Fort Walton Beach, the 1991 state football champion, trying to do it again 4 years later. 2 in 5 years, not bad for any high school, and certainly they're in good position here. 17-0, and really Fort Walton Beach has had some nice drives. Outson has run the team the way he's run it all year, effectively and efficiently.
Yeah, they've mixed it up very well. Not a whole lot of offensive explosion on the field in the first half, but statistically, the edge goes to the Vikings.
Let's take a look at the first half numbers, and they really do spell out the story of this ball game, especially with turnovers.
Well, the Vikings have 148 yards in total offense. The Rebels only 90 yards, but look at that, 2 turnovers, and we saw the interception by Rodriguez really make a big difference in terms of helping the Vikings get additional points after that turnover. But look at the time of possession, too. Dixie Hollins really hasn't had the football much at all, and when they have had it, they've got little done.
And one thing we don't have on the stats, and that is the penalty. Offensive pass interference on Dixie Hollins' first drive really took away their offensive momentum, and they never got it back.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They had a chance on their second drive of the night, I believe. Had some success moving the ball the first time, but once that penalty was assessed, they were deep in their own territory, and they've never really recovered on offense.
We'll see if they can recover in the second half, because the Fort Walton Beach Viking band is just about done, and that means second half action is coming up right after this timeout on Sports Channel.
Dixie Hollins will receive.
The Vikings from Fort Walton Beach High School with a 17-0 lead as they try to bring home another state championship. And it's not only the players who have to tough it out for the big games. One of the cheerleaders, despite a knee injury, out there trying to root on the Vikings here in the second half of this FHSAA High School Football Championship game. The broadcast rights to today's telecast have been granted to Sports Channel Florida by the Florida High School Activities Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this program without the express written consent of Sports Channel Florida is prohibited. Along with Jim Yarbrough, I'm Larry Vitale. Glad you're tuned in. Hope you're enjoying our coverage of the FHSAA Florida Finals. And that young man, Jay Holmes, maybe the MVP of the first half with those 3 field goals, and that long one late in the half, certainly emotionally, maybe the most damaging for the Rebels of Dixie Hollins.
Yeah, he certainly has gotten our attention with his excellent play. We again mentioned we've heard a lot about him, and he's lived up to all his pregame billing.
Look at that kick, a driving kickoff that goes into the end zone. You cannot bring it out in high school ball. So Holmes gets the touchback, and it'll be the 20-yard line for Marquell Blackwell and the Dixie Hollins Rebels offense as they go to work. And Blackwell with just a disastrous first half of this ball game. Look at the numbers, 2 for 9, 23 yards and 1 interception. It was only his 3rd interception of the season, including the playoffs. He's thrown 23 touchdown passes with only 3 interceptions, but that was a costly one late in the first half.
And again, this is an offense that likes to feature Juice Williams and Fade Smith running the football. They'd rather do that than do this. But trailing 17-0, they desperately need some success in the air to give those little scatbacks a chance to get them back in the ball game with an offensive attack.
Over the year, about 2/3 of their offense on the ground, 1/3 through the air, but that may have to be 80% through the air here in the second half because Fort Walton Beach has done a very consistent job against the running attack of Dixie Hollins. 2nd and 10 from the 20. There's Juice. He's got 5. He's got almost 7 yards as he falls forward to close to the 27-yard line.
Excellent blocks by Steve Wimmers, number 60, the center, and Jeremy Jager, the right guard, number 73. Now you see Juice Williams limping off the field, but the center and the right guard really did a beautiful job there. There you see Jager, 73. Big 65 is Alton Rogers, the right tackle. We're going to take a look at the point of attack. There you see the right guard pulling, Jager pulling and making the kick-out block.
Big 3rd down for Dixie Hollins as they try to move the chains, and they do. Running right up the middle, there's Fade Smith, and he's to the 34 and a 1st down, running through the left side. So it's a 1st and 10 for the Rebels.
Matt Kelly, one of the leading tacklers for the Vikings all season long, all alone making that tackle. That could have been a big play for the Rebels right there, if not for the effort of Matt Kelly, number 60.
So they get a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 from the 34. Opening possession, second half of the 5A state championship game. Swings it out right side. He's got a man, but his man's got all kinds of company. Dorian Randolph gets about 5 yards. He's run out of bounds.
Now, wouldn't you know, the first completion, is it the first? No, the screen pass. Maybe, yeah, he's 2. I think he's had 2. This is the 3rd completion. Oh, I was going to say they had holding on him, but it's against the Vikings. Someone was flagged for a violation on the defense. Now, other than the screen pass,
that made no sense.
This is the first time they really got the ball to a wide receiver, Dorian Randolph. Coach Wilson saying, hey, let's get going. We're across midfield. Let's go.
So they get the face mask on top of the 5 or 6 yard completion, and that puts the ball at the Vikings' 46-yard line.
15 yards and a 1st down.
We've got an official timeout for a moment. But hey, this is a great situation for the Rebels, trailing by 17 points. The first drive of the 3rd quarter, they get across midfield, and it's 1st down.
Let's see if they can take advantage of this opportunity. Blackwell just hands off straight up the middle. Not much running room. That's Curtis Andrew, the fullback, and he gets about 3 yards.
Marcus Turner and Matt Kelly, the two linebackers, doing an excellent job again for the Viking defense. So you take a look at Marcus Turner, number 45. Flipping around a little bit. He's given it his all tonight. Got the rest of his school year to rest, right? This is it for these kids in terms of the anguish of playing football.
There's the Juice, and the Juice is straightened up and dropped. Nice tackle made by Al Jackson, the corner on the right side, number 2. Good strong tackle. It'll bring up 3rd down and a couple.
Well, even though it's a couple of yards, it's a huge effort coming up for Dixie Hollins right now.
9.5 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. 17-0 our score. And you know, Dixie Hollins is in a mindset that they've got to get the next score in this ball game and cut into that lead. Fort Walton Beach, a dangerous club because they can score with the field goal from quite a ways out. 3 on the play clock. They got it off. Fighting through a tackle. Fade Smith is short of 1st down yardage. It'll be 4th down and a yard.
And they're going to go for it, I got to believe, without any question, as they get into Viking territory. Let's see who comes up with the play. It's a nice block by 73 Jager, but it's number 60, Matt Kelly, that excellent inside linebacker, getting over there, making the play just within maybe a foot or 2 of the 1st down marker.
I went to high school with a guy named Matt Kelly. He was no linebacker. Good guy. Just not a linebacker. He's got it.
Close.
Curtis Andrew gets the 1st down at the 35-yard line. He needed a yard. He got a pair of them.
Boy, he seemed to be standing straight up there, didn't he? It looked like he almost was going to get hit in the nose and knocked back. Generally, when short yardage, you want a low profile as a back hitting that line of scrimmage, but the Vikings weren't able to deny the 1st down conversion, and the Rebels continue to move, and they come out of the locker room with some hope and got a chance right now to make something happen.
1st down from the 35-yard line. They've still got to get Blackwell going. He's got 1 receiver each way. Blackwell looks over the middle. That ball is deflected. I think Kelly's the one who touched it. Trying to force it through 3 defenders, and he was unable to do so, and it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, exactly so. Anthony Sneed, number 88, was the intended receiver, but there were 3 red jerseys all over him right there. And Marquell Blackwell was lucky that he didn't really throw that ball well, because it could have been intercepted easily by the Viking defenders. Well, that hurts them. 1st down, you know, they've had some success on 1st down. They didn't, and now it's a 2nd, a menacing 10.
Now 2 wide receivers out to the left side, tight end on the right. Quick pitch to the outside. The Juice is going to get squeezed, and he's going to get drained. And they finally blow him down. Forward motion at the 42-yard line. That's a loss of 7. Big play again from the strong safety.
Looked like it was Ashley Cooper, number 3. Look to the left of your screen. You're going to see the strong safety fly up there. Oh, it's also number 32. Stephen Etheridge and Cooper over there to make that play. Really a linebacker. Stephen Etheridge right there, and there you see Cooper breaking up the block at the point of attack. Just seemed to sell out.
Under pressure, they wanted to set up the screen, can't do it. Still on the run, Blackwell is caught and dropped back at his own 48-yard line by Dante Sheffield.
Now you see Dante Sheffield stay home, has the discipline not to be fooled by the quarterback. Initially, Blackwell in the pocket, then he runs away from the pressure that he's getting. Was that number 51, I think, for Fort Walton? 51. That's Ryan Montalto was the guy putting pressure on initially.
Washington dropped the snap, but nobody was rushing him, so he was able to pick it up, get straightened out, punts it, and it rolls inside the 5 down to the 4-yard line. So a 47-yard kick with no return.
The 4-yard line.
Well, Dixie Hollins really had something going right there. They really had a chance, but that Viking defense just was going to bend a little bit early in the third quarter, but they didn't give up any points, and they continue to have the big 17-point lead with 6:35. That was a lot of clock to be eaten up without any points.
But boy, they need to stop Fort Walton Beach now. They've got them deep in their own territory. Marcus Outson and company have performed well. They've had 3 very good drives in this contest.
Well, this drive will pretty much decide whether we have a game or not. If they can get out and continue to move the ball, it's going to be over for Dixie Hollins. If Dixie Hollins can hold them, they have a chance to put a quick score up, or actually it's not going to be quick anymore as we're halfway through the third quarter, but they could put a third quarter score up if they can put the brakes on them.
McNabb just picked up 8 yards. He now has 84 yards on the game. We have an injured player, and we have timeout on the field with 6 minutes and 2 seconds to play in the Class 5A high school football championship game in Florida. Fort Walton Beach still leads at 17-0. We'll be right back. It's 4th down at the 16-yard line. Fort Walton Beach not able to muster a drive, but they did knock about 3 minutes off the clock, and now they'll have to punt deep in their own territory. Jay Holmes, they have the right side loaded, does Dixie Hollins. Maybe they're coming after him. Good rush from the other side. They rough the kicker. Great kick. Hits at the 35, bounds down to the 27-yard line where the Juice will be surrounded, but we've got a roughing the kicker back at the 5-yard line, and that will probably give Fort Walton Beach the ball right back.
Yeah, they didn't come after it, but they did make contact with the kicker. It was an obvious violation. They were hustling, trying to make something happen. A couple of guys weren't able to pick up the number. Maybe we'll get a shot on it on the replay. But it was a good call by the official. There was no doubt there was roughing of the punter right there. Let's take a look at the left top of your screen. That's where the pressure is going to come. It's Blount to Shoy. Blount. Oh, actually, he hits the hip of the up back and just loses his balance. He was going to the point that he should have been going to, but when he got hit by the up back, knocked him off balance.
Well, he went into that plant leg hard, and it's got to be called. There's nothing you can do about it. Unlike a time where sometimes you'll see a guy actually pushed into the kicker. That wasn't the case that time. So the officials called it properly. Tough break for Dixie Hollins because they give the ball right back to that Fort Walton Beach Vikings offense.
3:29 left in the third quarter, so we might see the third quarter end, and Dixie Hollins not making a dent in that 17-point lead that the Vikings have put on the scoreboard.
McNabb just waits for the blocking to develop, picks his way through traffic. He's got 15 yards and a first down.
Just a sophomore. Just a sophomore. You got to believe that the coaching staff is really excited about the next 2 years with this young man. Dylan Hunt, number 1, a nice block at the point of attack. And you see number 5, Demetrius Creighton, looking for someone to hit. Creighton hustling downfield.
Richard McNabb is the cousin of former University of Florida fullback Dexter McNabb.
Dexter McNabb, a terrific player at Florida, has had some success in the NFL as a fullback, currently in the NFL.
Running up the middle is McNabb, and he's got another 8 yards down to the 46 of Dixie Hollins.
Well, you think a running back in the Panhandle asks for that number 22 number on occasion?
Oh, yeah. Remember Mr. Smith, Emmitt Smith, the greatest runner in the history of the state of Florida. Wore number 22 at Escambia High School in Pensacola. His high school coach Dwight Thomas, among the many coaches that are here for the high school championships. Dwight no longer in the coaching business, but still very much involved in football. It actually helps a lot of the second level of players get noticed by smaller schools that can't afford to recruit the way the big boys do.
Stephen Cooper has gone down with an injury right now. That's why we have the timeout.
Cooper's a guy who's played mostly offensive line this year, but has had to play a lot of defensive line in this ball game. One thing that Dixie Hollins coach Todd Wilson was concerned about before the ball game is that he had so many more guys who played both ways than did Fort Walton Beach, and realizing that over the course of the game that can really wear on you. Certainly injuries are a bigger concern when you have to do that, and just the fatigue factor. And when you look at the ball control in the first half, as we pointed out, 16 minutes to 7 approximately, and now here in the second half, Fort Walton Beach again driving the football. That's going to be tough for Dixie Hollins in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, typically in the big school divisions, the 5A like this and the 6A, the real big school division, you don't see guys having to play both ways because there's so much talent at the school and there's so many kids that come out and play the game of football. But in the smaller school divisions, it's quite often you see a kid maybe play the whole game. But as you mentioned, Dixie Hollins doesn't have the luxury of playing two completely different units, and a lot of these kids are just wearing down.
Well, Sports Channel brings you not only the best in high school action, but college action as well. College basketball as Bobby Paschal takes his South Florida Bulls and super point guard Chucky Atkins to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers of Coach Kevin O'Neill. That'll be Friday, December 22nd at 7:30, live right here on Sports Channel, where college basketball is at its best.
There you see Stephen Cooper seems to be okay as he gets closer to the sideline. Hopefully he'll be able to come back.
Second down, they just need a couple. McNabb in motion. They do a little pump fake down the sidelines. Got a man inside the 20, inside the 10. It's another first and goal for Fort Walton Beach as Sean Smith makes the catch and gets the ball down to the 7-yard line. A pickup of 39 yards.
Marcus Outson does a beautiful job with a pump fake right here. Shows a lot of poise as he sets up. Linebackers are coming after him, trying to put pressure on him right here. Great protection by the big guys up front. You see the pump there. Sean Smith gets behind the coverage of Marquise Fitzgerald, makes the cutback, and thought for a moment he might get that ball stripped from behind. How often do you see a guy breaking loose in the secondary and someone comes from behind, strips the ball away? But hey, these Vikings are not to be denied tonight, it seems.
Timeout called by the referee, an equipment problem for one of the Dixie Hollins defenders, Jeremy Jager, so he leaves the ball game and will be set to continue. First and goal at the 7-yard line. You know, Outson was not the big-time passer coming into this ball game. Blackwell was, but Outson has passed for 74 yards. He has outpassed Marquell Blackwell, and I think that speaks volumes of this ball game.
Yeah, it's the balance. The balance on offense is the difference. The success of the kicking game is the difference.
McNabb did not get back to the line of scrimmage, but I believe someone got a little face mask on the tackle, and if so, it'll be first and goal at the 4. It wasn't the first guy who made the hit, it was the second man in who pulled the face mask.
There's a happy head coach along the sideline. We saw Joey Rankin there. Here's the call.
Face mask on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down. I heard all that. Tell you, Joey Rankin, kind of a unique situation for him as the head coach at Fort Walton Beach. He was an assistant on the '91 team that won a state championship, coached by Jimmy Ray Stevens, who is now the offensive line coach at the University of Florida. We mentioned they had Danny Werfel at quarterback and E.G. Green at wide receiver. And he has moved up from that job, now in his 3rd year as the head coach, and a chance to get another state championship ring. First and goal. They go inside, spinning forward, touchdown. Demetrius Creighton's in the end zone.
Now Demetrius Creighton, the fullback, gets the call right here, and he does get a ride, it seems, on the back of one of his offensive linemen. Just a beautiful job the entire drive by this Viking offense. You know, one of the things that Joey Rankin, I think, has done so well as a head coach is take advantage of the talent that he has. You know, you talked about Warfel being at Fort Walton Beach some years ago. Obviously, they threw the ball a lot then, but he's concentrated more on the running game because of the talent that he's had. And you see it paying off big dividends for him tonight.
And the extra point by Jay Holmes is perfect, as you would expect. And now Fort Walton Beach has a commanding lead in this ball game, 24 points. And that big offensive line, we've mentioned their names over and over and over again. They've really controlled the line of scrimmage all day long.
Tony Edge right there, the big right tackle. Jody Wright at right guard. Darren Reeder at center. J.C. Cotton on the left side. They run right behind Cotton and Joey Wharf right here. Now let's see. Does he get a... Oh, just, hey, that was a nice effort. You see him just twist and turn and fight his way across that goal line right there. Demetrius Creighton, 11-play drive there, 96 yards. We talked about that drive you mentioned as it started. Hey, you know, Dixie Hollins might have a chance if they can stop him right here, but we said, hey, the Vikings can also bury him if they can move down the field. And they not only moved down the field, they finished it off with a touchdown. Now you see some celebration on the sideline. Reeder and Edge.
Kickoff bounces through traffic and is finally picked up by Fade back at the 3-yard line. Johnny Smith run out of bounds at about the 15. Good coverage that time. Al Jackson ends up making the stop, and that's another bad field position situation for Dixie Hollins as they'll start out inside their own 20. Fort Walton Beach has controlled this football game. They drove for a field goal on their opening possession, then added another field goal, and there you see the total offense difference, more than 2-1 in favor of the Vikings from Fort Walton Beach as they try to pick up another state championship. There's the juice, and he's up to the 23-24-yard line. Ricardo Williams.
He runs really hard, doesn't he? Regardless of the score, these kids are running hard. You see Juice Williams right there shaking his hand. He's going to take himself out right now. A bit banged up. Out comes Johnny Fade Smith. He's going to line up at the tailback position, it seems.
Well, those two have done the job all season long, and they've picked up some yardage on the ground, but it's been the inability to throw effectively that has really deprived Dixie Hollins of most of its normal offensive production. Spinning through traffic, Johnny Smith across the 35 up to the 37, maybe even the 38-yard line. So another hard runner. Both of these guys are seniors, listed at 5'7", but that's with the helmets on.
Matt Kelly, number 60, thought he had a big shot at Johnny Fade Smith right there, but just the little guy was too elusive, and once he got into the secondary, we saw Juice Williams a moment ago running so hard. Now Fade Smith, he's out there churning away too.
From the 38-yard line, could be the final play of the third quarter, and it probably will be as the clock winds down, as the running play with Eric Melvin goes across the midfield stripe. It's a first down, a pickup of about 13 yards, and that is the end of the third quarter of the 1995 FHSAA 5A football championship game. St. Petersburg Dixie Hollins yet to get on the scoreboard. They're down 24 with just 12 minutes to play. First play of the fourth quarter, and Marquell Blackwell had time, did not have a receiver, tried to run and couldn't, and ends up gaining about a half a yard.
Markwell ran into Marcus Turner, number 45. Again, great job. His name was
You don't do that regularly? Can you imagine the team of chiropractors who would take to straighten one of us out from that? Yowzers.
I'd be the one lifting. They would never allow me up there.
They need a forklift to get me up there. Gain of about a yard. Blackwell looks downfield, zips it, and it is batted away. Cooper, did he come away with it? They say no. Cooper thought he had it, but he didn't start selling it right away. The officials were kind of undecided, but Ashley Cooper just didn't start selling it until the customer had already left the store.
Broken up by Cooper.
Ashley Cooper, the senior, he's excited about going out as a state champion, as all the seniors would be for Fort Walton Beach.
You know, both of these teams acknowledge they don't have a lot of big-time major Division I prospects. I've seen a lot of players at the major college level that aren't as good as Ashley Cooper. I'm impressed with that kid. He is a good-looking football player. See what happens in his future. Pressure from the backside, and he's got him. Rodriguez-Purdue. Man, you could see that coming for 20 yards.
Yeah, I was yelling from back here. I didn't want him to get hit from the blind side so brutally. You knew that Rodriguez-Purdue was just going to cash in on this opportunity. He's unblocked. There's a breakdown for whatever reason on the line of scrimmage. He didn't elude anyone, I don't think. He was just unblocked, and that's why we could see it coming so early. Look at the backside. Yeah, well, somebody's waving at him there.
A low spiral. It's fielded at the 28-yard line. And Fort Walton Beach has the ball back with 10:27 to play. And Rodriguez-Purdue has had two big plays in this ballgame, including the interception, which was just a very big play late in the first half. He's just a sophomore, so he will be back. You see him over there, listed at 5'10", 170. Looks a little bigger.
Graham is a sophomore. But wasn't it Pensacola, Washington that was in the state championship last year? Had 13 starters coming back, and they didn't even make the playoffs, did they?
Finished third in a very difficult district.
But they did beat this team early in the season. They well, it wasn't an upset at the time, I don't think.
Running left side, McNabb picks up 2 or 3 yards.
The only team to beat Fort Walton Beach during the regular season, the only team to beat them at all during the whole year was Pensacola, Washington.
And Fort Walton Beach had not been to the playoffs since their state championship season in '91 and '92.
So
last year with Jimmy Ray Stevens, they didn't make it, and the first 2 years after Stevens left and Joey Rankin took over, they went 11-9, just kind of hanging out that 500 mark. So this is a big year for them, and a state championship just 9 minutes 45 seconds away. Flag on the play, came down right at the snap. Throwing right side, that pass is caught. Nice lunging catch is made over on the right sideline by Michael Ruiz. But yeah, we had motion. The flag came out by the referee as soon as the ball was snapped, and I think he had 2 people in motion. One legally, that means the second one is illegal.
You know, that's a really interesting point you made a few moments ago. This is a team that wasn't even in the state playoffs the last 3 years. And they come out the senior year of some of these kids who, for the prior 3 years, had little success and win a state championship. So that always gives you hope, regardless of what happens your sophomore year, your junior year. There's always a chance that your senior year, your team might put it together.
You have any question that Marcus Outson spent most of his 8th grade year pretending he was Danny Werfel out in Fort Walton Beach, and that Ashley Cooper thought he was E.G. Green?
You betcha.
Mark the ball back at the 26-yard line. Second down. They needed to get it up to the 38. So they need about a dozen. Outson. Well, he ran right into Chicoy, and that's a collision Chicoy's going to win.
Yeah, Shaquoy Blount, this kid has played terrifically all night. The bottom of your screen, number 56. He stays home. He's not about to let Outson roll out around him. Not only does he not allow that, he makes the sack for the tackle for the loss. Just a beautiful job by Blount.
Way back there now for Walton Beach, all the way back to their 17. So they need a little more than 20 to get the first down yards. Probably run a draw.
Oop, there's Shaquoy again.
That's what Shaquoy was thinking too.
He said, hey, I'm on a roll. The guy said, don't celebrate too much now. You're trailing 24-0, so behave yourself.
Well, he sent him back a few more yards, so it'll be 4th and 25 back at the 13. So Dixie Hollins, their defense has been in there and they've been competing all day long, and the offense just hasn't contributed a whole lot.
Got no help, unfortunately, from their offense tonight. The defense played their hearts out against a terrific Viking football team.
He's joined by Dorsey.
The up man fields the punt. It's Williams, and he's finally dropped at the 43-yard line. He broke about 11 tackles, but ended up right where he started.
Now, how did he do that? He dodged a lot of guys there.
It's like being elusive in an elevator. You can keep running and ducking and diving and moving, but
you're not going anywhere.
Right where you started when it's all said and done. And that's the way it turned out here, and we've got an injured player at the bottom of the pile for Fort Walton Beach. Hopefully that youngster's not seriously injured. Let's see who that is. I think it might be T.J. Owens, number 86.
66.
No, it's 66. I had one number right.
Jody Wright.
Right guard on that offensive line. And he's limping off a little bit, but when you're up 24, it doesn't hurt as much as when you're down 24. At least that's what they tell me. Every team I played on was always down 24, so I never knew what it felt like to be up on the scoreboard, except during golf tournaments. Blackwell throws in the right flat, in and out of the hands, and closing fast. Was Eric Luna, the free safety, was getting there in a hurry. Luna, senior, 5'10", 165-pounder.
More head on the defense.
Look at those numbers. Blackwell came in averaging 60% completions. Again, they're not a total pass-oriented football team, but they still averaged about 125 yards a game through the air, and they averaged, and he had 23 touchdown passes.
Well, we saw one of the guys responsible for that great defense of the Vikings tonight along the sideline, Steve Williams, defensive coordinator. We'll get another shot of him in a few minutes, but boy, his defense has pitched a shutout tonight.
Running left side, trying to fight his way through is Johnny Smith, and he gets up to the 46 where it'll be 3rd down. Well, for a first-year coach, Todd Wilson, I was talking with Todd Wilson quite a bit before the ball game about the fact that he kept hearing at school this week how proud everyone would be even if they don't win the championship. And he's saying, you know, a month from now I might want to hear that, but right now that's not the way I'm thinking at all. A first-year coach to be a first-year head coach in a state championship game is great, but that wasn't enough. He really wanted a chance to win this thing.
Well, and they rightfully so thought they could come in here and might have a shot.
Blackwell steps up, fires, and the pass is caught at the 45-yard line. That's Anthony Sneed on a little crossing route. That's good enough for a first down.
There you see Steve Williams in the sweatshirt signaling to his defense. What a great job he's done all season long, obviously. And there's the guy that's trying to get his offense cranked up over there. Coach Wilson, you see the frustration on his face as he's not seen the football get downfield like it just did when we got the ball to Sneed.
Perhaps it's been a surprise that Fort Walton Beach has covered as well as they have. That flag is for a face mask coming in from the side. And that'll move the ball down to about the 30-yard line.
Flag on the play.
When Blackwell's been back to throw, Jim, he really has not had open receivers. It's not like he's back there with all these great opportunities to complete passes and not cashing in on them. His guys have been covered.
And he's been scrambling most of the time, too. It's really just not worked. The passing game just not worked a lick.
Face mask on the defense, 15 yards.
Move the ball
first
down to the 31-yard line where it will be first down. 6 minutes, 27 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. State championship trophy could be headed back to Fort Walton Beach High School. And apparently will be, unless there is a miraculous comeback by the Rebels from Dixie Hollins, who trail by 24. And a little delay with the fullback, Eric Melvin. Melvin got about a yard, then he'll be run backwards about 10 yards by a host of defenders led by Matt Kelly and Dante Sheffield.
Larry, I can't recall a state championship game, and you and I have had the chance to enjoy a number of them over the last 5 or 6 years. A defensive unit, the big school division, the 5A or the 6A that was this small. The kids are so big these days. Again, look at the front seven of the Viking defense, average only 181 pounds, but boy, can they run sideline to sideline, and do they get after you.
I think it was Fernando Jackson, the former Gator linebacker, who was the first I heard say it, but so many people have said it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog.
And that's true with this defense. They're after him. They're pitching a shutout.
Tremendous day for Fort Walton Beach. More college basketball action is headed your way here on Sports Channel. We hope you'll join us Saturday, December 23rd at 1 o'clock for University of Miami Hurricane action. Boy, Leonard Hamilton's got a talented basketball squad. If you haven't seen them play, you're missing out. They've got some awfully good players, and you'll enjoy them as they take on the Clemson Tigers. That's live right here on Sports Channel, Saturday, December 23rd, 1 o'clock. We hope you'll tune in. Now the celebrating is underway a little bit on the Fort Walton Beach side of the stadium, where a state championship trophy is already got a place picked out on the mantle for that. Meanwhile, for Dixie Hollins coach Todd Wilson, his defense has given him a game effort, but his offense just has not gotten on track against this undersized but extremely productive Fort Walton Beach defense. Blackwell with all kinds of time, throws deep and way too strong. He tried to get a deep crossing route to Dorian Randolph, but again, good coverage back there as Jason Scott was in position along with the free safety Eric Luna. This kid Luna seems to be in the right spot every play.
Problem for the Rebels tonight, it seems that when they get time, it's an errant pass. When the receiver gets open, there's no time. It's just out of sync. The whole passing game all night long has been out of sync. But as you mentioned, you need to credit the guys in the secondary for making that happen.
Third down from just inside the 31-yard line. Blackwell under pressure, avoids one man, but he can't avoid Rodriguez Purdue. Oh man, that kid's having a career tonight.
You talk about the quintessential speed rusher. You know, you don't have to be a big giant to play this game. You really don't if you have this kind of speed. Look at Purdue. He actually went to his knees. Did you see that? He got up, did not give up, and continued to make the play, turned on the Jets. Just a great job. And there's big Ray Perkins back there again tonight, the big number 77. He's back there with Purdue. Woo. Boy, these guys tough on defense.
Another good punt. It's at the 11. Will roll down to about the 7-yard line, and that's where it will stop. And with 4 minutes and 55 seconds to play in the 5A state championship game, Fort Walton Beach with a 24-point lead has the ball again.
I'll tell you what, if you had to grade the offense, the defense, and the kicking game of the Fort Walton Beach Vikings, they'd make straight A's. I mean, they're just playing lights out on every aspect of the game, and that's why they're not only going to be state champions, but it looks like they're going to pitch a shutout in the state championship battle.
And again, Fort Walton Beach has not been a dominant defense this season.
They've not had a shutout all year. The Rebels have had the shutouts. Dixie Hollins has had 4 in the regular season. They only gave up, again, like we said, 1 field goal each to 2 other teams.
There you saw a good running play there from McNabb, who picked up about 16 yards on that carry.
Oh my goodness, just a crushing block again by big number 75, Tony Edge.
Richard McNabb has had an outstanding game, over 100 yards. He's closing in on 1,500 for the season. He needs 129, and that carry gave it to him. He now has 132, we are told. Thank you, Steve, on the stats. A little 2-yard pickup, give him a couple more. So Richard McNabb goes over the 1,500-yard mark, but more importantly, goes over the 500-yard mark in postseason. In 5 postseason games, he's averaged about 125 yards per game running the football in the postseason.
And what grade is this kid in now?
It's a sophomore, just like Rodriguez Purdue. He's a sophomore. Ball at the 25-yard line, 2nd down. 3.5 minutes to play. Again, their 2 first downs from running out the clock. Not much there for McNabb that time as he got across the 27. It'll be 3rd and a short 6, long 5 in that range. You see Kurt Andrew, number 32, linebacker in there. Dixie Hollins had 8 games this year allowing 7 points or less, including 4 shutouts, twice holding teams to 3, twice holding teams to 7. Meanwhile, for Fort Walton Beach, they're used to watching people score points against them, and it happened all season long. 19 in their semifinal win over Buchholz. They gave up 20 in their quarterfinal win over Daytona Beach Mainland.
Well, excuse me, they did have a shutout against Pensacola Woodham in the first game of the playoffs. I slighted their defense a little bit there when I said they didn't have one prior to tonight. But it really wasn't the dominating kind of defense that we've seen here, or at least in terms of statistics.
Outson was tackled well short of first down yardage. In fact, he lost a yard on the play, so they'll punt it away as the clock ticks down with 2:20 to play. And
watch out for the Gatorade.
I was just going to say, how long will it be before Joey Rankin gets his shower?
Somebody's asleep on the bench or not paying attention to the clock. Well, it's 2 minutes. Maybe we're a little early. Ooh, that'd be cold, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. No pressure, and look at that kick. Hits at the 25 and is picked up at the 21-yard line. And not much of a return at all. So an excellent kick, excellent coverage, a flag on the play at the 31-yard line.
Stefan Schiff, number 74, did a beautiful job in coverage right there.
Let's see what the flag is all about.
Steven Schiff.
Ended up being a 55-yard kick. The penalty is against Dixie Hollins, and they had 12 men on the field again. So that'll be a first down, and Fort Walton Beach will get to run out the clock with 1:49 left in the game. Isn't that something? And that offensive unit goes back on the field.
Illegal participation on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
You see the sideline for Dixie Hollins. They came in here with big goals, big expectations to try to win themselves a state championship. But they're going to go back knowing they were state runner-up. And in the state of Florida, that's quite an accomplishment, something they can be patting themselves on the back about. It won't happen right away, as we mentioned earlier. They came here looking to win it all, but what a first year as a head coach. To be able to come out here and do something like this, Todd Wilson and his staff, and to be congratulated for getting to the state championship game. But now 3 snaps should be enough to wrap up this 5A championship game. right up the middle, McNabb, and he picks up another 8 yards. And now some reserves are going to get themselves into the ball game and get to say they played in the state championship game. Zach Hatchis, number 62, is checked into the ball game, and now the backup quarterback, Donnie Rogers, and you hear the cheers for the senior, Marcus Outson. He comes off the field the way any high school player dreams about, leading his team to a state championship in his final ball game. Oh. That run up the middle should be enough for a first down.
Well, it's a great feeling for these young men that they can always say the rest of their life that at some point in their life they were a champion. And they certainly are champions tonight here in the state of Florida in the tough game of football.
Marquise Simon checks in. John Jensen is checked in. Stephen Fier has checked in. Derek Jacob is checked in. All these guys getting a chance to play in the championship game. Just 23 seconds, clock running. This should be the final snap. Simon gets popped. Welcome to the ball game. Dixie Hollins gets the satisfaction of making it a losing play. And here it comes, Coach. Here it comes. Hello. The Vikings from Fort Walton Beach have played the Class 5A state championship in most impressive fashion here in Daytona Beach.
Just an outstanding effort. I can't imagine this team having played a better game all year, Larry, than this. We talked about the straight A grade we would give them, and just a fantastic finish to a dream season, a season in which they won the state championship after 3 years of not even being in the playoffs. Just a tremendous effort by the Fort Walton Beach Vikings tonight.
A superb effort. A lot of congratulations to go around, including Richard McNabb. The tailback McNabb had an outstanding ball game, totaling 146 yards. Marcus Outson ran the offense beautifully all day long. That offensive line of Ward, Cotton, Reeder, right, and edge also made a lot of plays. And then you think of guys on defense like Ashley Cooper at strong safety, Eric Luna at free safety, Ray Perkins, a defensive tackle, had a big game, and so did Dante Sheffield at defensive end. And what about Rodriguez Purdue? Boy, was he something tonight.
Offensive coordinator Mike Owens, defensive coordinator Steve Williams. They joined head coach Joey Rankin in celebrating this big victory.
A superb win for Fort Walton Beach. They won the state championship in 1991, and now 4 years later, these seniors on this team were 8th graders. They were 8th graders when Danny Werfel, E.G. Green, Jimmy Ray Stevens and company won the state title for the Vikings in 91. And now 4 years later, you know they entered high school with the goal of winning another state title. They have done it, and they have done it with a shutout in the 5A state championship game. Quite a night for the fans of the Vikings of Fort Walton Beach. We thank you for joining us here at Daytona Beach Municipal Stadium for the Florida High School Activities Association Florida Finals. The 5A championship goes to the Fort Walton Beach Vikings. Football coverage is at 7:30. It'll be the 4A championship game, and then at 10 o'clock, the 6A state title game, all right here on Sports Channel. I'm Larry Vitale saying so long for Jim Yarbrough and our entire Sports Channel crew. Again, the final score, 24-0 for Fort Walton Beach. Congratulations to the state champs.